You read the title right. I'm giving away everything 100% free in this video for my YouTube personal brand system. Every single folder, Google Drive, SOP, document, strategy, sheet, course, everything. It's all in this video, and it explains exactly how we work with all of our clients to get them results that they're looking for, between hundreds of thousands of subscribers, millions of views, tens of thousands of dollars in sales, in profit, not just revenue, and so much more. We've worked with clients across technology, business, fitness, wellness, relationship content, all kinds of industries, and because we know that this system works. Now, before we get into all of these folders and documents and exactly every single step that it takes to make the perfect YouTube video, I want to break down really quick why we do this. We do this because we want to help real business owners that are actually helping the world and helping other people to achieve something even bigger than what they currently are. Business owners out there don't know how to start a personal brand. They don't know how to talk on camera. So it's my vision as the personal founder. I'm Ethan Gegg. I make content. I started making content 6 years ago. It's my personal mission to help people like you expand your reach and help more people. With that being said, let's hop right into it. So the first thing that's going to happen when you become a client with us, or that I recommend doing even if you don't end up working with this, because this video is multi-purpose. It's either for people that want to work with us or want to understand exactly how to grow a new YouTube channel for their business and personal brand. So either way, the first thing you're going to want to do is start doing industry research. You're going to want to answer the basic questions about what your brand is, and you're going to want to think about how you can make a organized content calendar to consistently create content. So the way we do that is in a much more organized format. We can look at it document by document. So from the very beginning, before we even get on an onboarding call with a client, what we do is we send them on the first call, on a sales call, we send them this Google form right here. So on this Google form, we ask all kinds of questions about you, your company, your brand, who you want to be, what your goals are, all of these things. We have all sorts of questions, and we don't have time to get through every single document in detail in this video. But if you guys are interested, check out the link below, or literally email me, ethan@gettacticalleads.com, about which specific documents in this video you'd like to see, and I will personally write back to you and email you this exact document or whichever one you want. With that being said, we got all kinds of questions. We asked them about what kind of content types do you like? What are your goals? How much money do you want to make? How committed are you to this whole process? We ask that, it's about a 20-30 minute form. Then after filling that out, we go into look at their answers and get more information on them. So after filling out that form, we compile all their answers into a brand battle plan document. Now this document we're going to come back to a few times because this is the first section of the video, which is how to start and overall build a YouTube channel. So we're going to compile all of their form responses into this document right here. This is where all their form responses go to. And from there, we have all kinds of action items as far as setting up the YouTube channel. These are basic things like, let's get a YouTube password, let's log them into our content calendar, let's get Google Drive set up, etc. And we're going to get into all this a bit more in a second. If we take a step back out to, again, the pre-onboarding call folder, we have another very important document, which this is a Google Sheet. This Google Sheet, and again, we're just going to breeze through these, but this Google Sheet has examples on different kinds of YouTube channels that are in their industry. And what we always do for each client is research a minimum of 20 YouTube channels, find the most successful ones in their industry, take inspiration on them, understand their sub counts, their average views, overall notes that we can take, what could be improved, what's already really good. And then we also take the same mindset to industry leading example videos as well. So we like to do a minimum of 30 example videos so we can take a lot of inspiration. So this whole document will be filled out all the way through. We'll be able to see exactly what are the top 30 videos in their industry, or the best 30 that we take the best inspiration from, and what are the best top 20 current YouTubers in their specific industry as well. Now, the next thing we're going to do is if they have an existing channel, we're going to analyze their channel. So this page is all information about their channel. We're going to look at subscriber count, AVPV, APV, AVD, CTR. We'll get into all these analytics later, but there's all kinds of stuff we can get into. And then we're also going to look at their videos, analyze, compare how they compare their current videos to how they hold up against everyone else in the industry that's already succeeding. That's going to help us make a lot of notes on how to improve and go back into this brand battle plan document. So the first thing that we can do is, this is actually an outdated section. We're always updating these documents. So again, if you guys have comments or questions or things that you think should be improved, please let me know. I'd love to improve these. But this is basically a copy of the other section. We're actually going to start phasing that out. But the next thing is content pillars. So now that we've got a bunch of example content pieces and we see what kind of content they're making and what's working in the industry, then we break it down into top of funnel, middle of funnel, and bottom of funnel. With these three content pillars, that allows us to understand, okay, what's actually going to lead to a sale? We're gonna start really wide with maybe just a YouTube video like this one. Here's my entire content system, and you can make $25,000 or whatever the title might be. It's like, start very wide, entice people with something relatively broadly interesting, and then from there, we can kind of get more narrow and talk more about, okay, here is how to build a YouTube personal brand for business owners that are doing 10 to 20K a month in revenue. That's a little bit more middle of funnel. Then we break it down even further to bottom of funnel. If you want to become a client of ours, here is exactly how we do it, our exact client process in 2025, our client process that makes an average client $50,000 in 2025. That would be bottom of funnel. We do the same thing for each individual client industry, following the same idea with the end goal, of course, being to get to the sale. Now, obviously, it's not all about sales, but that's where we think about it. We think about getting an ROI at the end of the day. And if you're growing a YouTube channel, you need to think about it the same way. You can't just go in with the mindset of a YouTube creator, because that's who I was 6 years ago, and I just wanted to be a YouTuber, and I didn't know what I was gonna sell, I didn't know how to make money, and look at me 6 years later, going the business route, not having made enough money to make that a reality, because only so many people can become a starving artist, and eventually it's just gonna die out. So you need to think about the business angle of things, and this is just step one of many of that. Now, the next things we'll also do before the onboarding call is develop a content calendar. Well, we actually have a Airtable is what it's called. This Airtable allows us to actually pick different content days. So I'll show you guys my example Airtable for this personal brand that you're watching on right now. This is all the content that we have here. I don't know if you guys can't really see all this, but I don't want to get into the details of the Airtable too much right now. Basically, this is our entire content calendar for the month. We can keep going into the next month, and you can kind of see it's all pre-planned as far as like different video content ideas. And right now I'm bulk recording a bunch of content, as you can see, to relaunch this channel. But this is an important notice I want to take a step back on. Whenever we work with a client from the beginning, we always have a very intensive launch phase from the very beginning. It doesn't matter whether or not you're paying for 4 videos or 8 videos a month. We don't care. We want to make more videos for you, because we're insane and we love YouTube videos. And that's because at the beginning, we're always going to do a minimum of at least 5 videos at the beginning of your first week posting. And the reason why is because even if you have an existing YouTube channel, we want to relaunch or reboost the algorithm as far as give it a new idea of who you are and what your channel's about. So we always launch very heavy. I'm relaunching this channel very heavy. I'm gonna take screenshots of where we started at. And maybe I'll even put them up on the screen right now, because this video is supposed to be coming out, like 7 or 8 videos into the relaunch of this channel. So you guys will probably be able to see the results already of how we're growing really quickly. So the same idea goes for whenever we work with a new client. It's gonna be fast at the beginning, and then it's about consistency, pace from then on. But anyways, this is the overall content calendar. We build out days to post consistently on for the client. Now let's go back to the brand battle plan, which is, again, like the hub document of preparing this whole campaign. So after we get that built out, we get some extra details from the client on the call. Anything highlighted in yellow here, we'll save that for later. But yeah, the last thing we'll build out before the onboarding call, stuff highlighted in yellow is the onboarding call, stuff in green is what we do beforehand. So in green here, you can see we have our post bio click value ladder, which is, again, just the top of funnel down to the bottom of funnel. This is how, as you can see, it's funnel shaped. So this is just basically all this is how we actually sell. I'm gonna try to make this a bit bigger for you guys so you can kind of see, but this is exactly how we're going to sell to the viewer. We start with them watching the content in general, like you guys are watching me right now. Then we give them a free video or item to watch. Then they get access to it for free by committing to giving us their email or their phone number. But in reality, they're almost kind of committing as far as like just relationally with us. They're committing to a communication further. Then we give them access to, or we get their email, we get the sales call, and we go to the sale. It's all a funnel. It's kind of different for each client. Again, I think I'm going too in depth on this right now, but the general idea is we build all that out for them. Now, that's the basic idea with the pre-onboarding. So the second phase is the onboarding call. Now I'm gonna move a bit faster here, but basically the idea with the onboarding call is we go through the same battle plan that you guys just saw here. We go through all that with them, review everything that we researched, review all the channels that we researched on that sheet that you saw, which is linked here. We were just on it earlier. As you can see, it's the same sheet. We fill all this out with the client. We get any extra notes that they might have or special details, campaigns, like maybe they have a big December sale. Maybe they have a big birthday sale in July. I don't know. There's all kinds of things like that. We figure out the details. We figure out the details of their brand book. So we build out a brand book. So again, if you're building out a new YouTube channel, think about all these little details like what's your company name and spelling? If you have a video editor, send this to him so he knows how to edit the videos. These are very important things. They don't know your colors. They don't know your style. And if you have all this ready, it's going to be much faster because they can review this one time and then be good to go from there. You can insert your colors here. We have places for clients to insert logos, exactly how they want videos to be edited, file naming structures, etc. There's too much to go through here, but again, let's keep moving. So the next thing we also do on the onboarding call is build out a ideation and recording plan for the client. And these are both going to be on this same document right here. What we basically do is we come up with a strategy for how they can ideate every single month, which it literally, the way we explain this to clients is we don't want you to spend any more time than 1 or 2 hours a month ideating and then like 2 to 4 hours a month recording. That's it. You should take about 1 hour session a month to ideate here and there, and then you should be recording either 1 large recording session throughout the month or 2 large recording sessions but slightly smaller twice a month. That's it. We take care of all the preparation, we take care of all the post-production, we take care of managing your team, growing your channel, doing the analytics, etc. That's it. That's basically the premise of this whole document, is just some other tips as well about how to record properly, how to prepare yourself and your mindset, etc. It's basically just preparing the ideation though and coming up with a schedule for it and then coming up with a schedule for recording every single day. Again, there's so many subtopics we could talk about, but we got to keep moving. That's the basic idea for the entire intro call. There is one other thing, which is we give tips on how clients should actually ideate videos. So we kind of onboard them with, as you can see, a lot of information. There's a lot going on here. We have so many different things for them to think about. This is like the 7th document you've already seen, and we're like 6 or 7 minutes into the video. But the main idea is there's a lot of prep to do at the beginning, but once the systems are down, it gets rolling quick. So speaking of quick, we're going to keep moving here. The next thing we're going to do, and I'm not going to get into this in too much detail just because we need to keep moving and there's kind of more technical details involved, but when we prepare their YouTube channel is the next thing we're going to do. What we do is we use a tool called vidIQ. There's a couple other tools we use, but we do keyword research to make sure that their channel is optimized for certain keywords in their industry. That's going to be a combination of high search volume for certain terms like how to lose weight quickly, how to bulk to over 200 pounds, things that have high search volume, but also that are lower in competition. So something like how to bulk to over 200 pounds is a little bit more specific and might have lower search competition. And we rank keywords based on, again, the competition, but the search volume as well. And if they have a really high search volume, but a low competition, that's a golden keyword, and we try to use those as much as possible, not only in your channel, but in your videos, which we'll save that for later. So that's how we, for the most part, set up your channel. We'll set up a channel banner, we'll do a logo, all that kind of stuff. The next phase goes back really quickly into that ideation thing we talked about earlier. This is the same document as before. The main idea is after the onboarding call, we need the client to spend at least an hour, so their first ideation block of the month, coming up with a bunch of content for us to start creating scripts and onboard them and make videos for. Now, the next thing we do is turn those ideas that they spent that hour on into actual video outlines. So what we do is we have a full video outline. Now, if you're going to take any notes on this video, this is the most important document because I use this document every single video. I've got my iPad here and I've got another filled out version of this document, which I'll show you guys that in a second, at the same time because I use this document for every single video, every single client. Now, what it basically entails is a bunch of information for everyone. So me, the client, the editors, the client itself, and then the post-production team. What that means is we firstly get that list of items and ideas, everything that the client spends that hour a month on. We get them to give us an overview of key points about what the video is about. Then we turn that into video titles as well as thumbnails. I call this TNT, titles and thumbnails, because they're literally what's going to blow up your video. And this is very important. Many people underestimate the amount of planning that it takes to make a proper YouTube video, but if you don't know what your title and your thumbnail is, how could you possibly know how to hook in the viewer at the beginning? You don't even know what they're clicking on. So that's something that's heavily underrated. If there's one thing you could learn from this video, it's plan your titles and thumbnails beforehand, ladies and gents. But anyways, we prepare all this other stuff. We do a bunch of keywords. We basically prepare that we have everything. We make sure we have everything prepared before every single video that they work on. I mean, I could literally list them out right here. I've got them in my notes. We got titles, thumbnails, keyword research, descriptions, video storyboard and storytelling formats, pre-production notes, post-production notes, editor's notes. Like, you can see all this stuff in here. Again, I'll probably link this document in the description if I can. If not, leave a comment, remind me. But yeah, we basically have them pick a storytelling format. So this is what our copywriters are going to go and do. And then I will also have a secondary look, or my manager will have a secondary look at these documents and these storyboards that we build out. We're going to look at what's the storytelling strategy? What are we going to go with an essay strategy, storytelling? We're going to go for a viral strategy. And then we convert all that into an actual video outline and storyboard. This is pretty important. There's 3 main sections here. We've got scene numbers, so we break down each video into multiple scenes. And then we also have what we're actually recording, what we're talking about. That's in the middle right here. And then for each of those scenes, we also have visuals and post-production notes for the editors as well. And then at the end, this is something super important. Last thing to keep in mind is whenever you're recording a YouTube video, always try to take notes on what went well and what didn't go well. So then you can improve every single video. And we always have our clients do this so that they know how to improve, so that we know how to improve every single video. This is the most important document, again, by far. Now, let's keep going. We're gonna go into recording content. Now, we have a couple of courses on this. So whenever we onboard a client, we have a recording course that we actually have them watch through. This is the overall script for it that I recorded it based on. So if you do sign on with a client, we've got a course for you. We might end up giving this away for free at some point here soon. If you guys are interested, again, just email me, ethan@gettacticalleads.com. Make sure you're subscribed too, and then you can have this for free. That's just a recording plan to help clients be more confident on camera and learn from my experience having recorded YouTube videos for over 6 years. I've done public speaking to thousands of people, so I know a thing or two. But continuing on, after the video is recorded, after we've got all the notes, everything's outlined, channels prepped, everything's like almost ready to go, there's one big thing we can't forget, and that is editing and post-production. And actually, to take a step back before we even get into this, I know I told you guys I was going to have an example video. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you an example of an entire video that's already going to be posted on my channel. It'll probably be linked in the top right-hand corner. But basically, in this video, we've got a bunch of different stuff already filled out. So this is an example of a video pre-planned. So a bunch of key points at the beginning. We've got some titles made. This is a video about Alex Hormozy. So definitely check out that video. It's going to turn out great. What we do for every single video, like I showed you guys, is prepare all those titles, thumbnails, descriptions, outlines I told you about. But more specifically, we prepare AI-generated thumbnails before every single video as well, because we want to make sure that there is quality before we do quantity. And that involves pre-planning things. We don't want to just send off some random idea to the thumbnail designer and hope it works out. I literally draw these thumbnails out by hand, and my team draws them out by hand, and we focus on what's the actual creative vision that's going to stand out and be something unique that doesn't exist right now. So this is currently the AI generated version, and I'll show you guys here in a second the actual thumbnail that turned out. So as you guys can see, here's how the actual final thumbnail turned out. We ended up going through a bunch of revisions and rounds on it, but this is what we ended up with finally, and I'm pretty proud of it. But again, there's so many revisions and rounds that go into it, so that's why we have to prepare so much from the beginning. Anyways, this is what the filled out version looks like. I would actually consider editing this back into the earlier part where we show this original document, but pretty much this video has inspiration from other YouTube videos involved. We've got an entire storytelling structure filled out, and then we convert that entire storytelling structure into a fully filled out video storyboard. It's got everything I said in the video, paraphrased of course, because you want to be kind of a little free form with it. I'm just moving off of bullet points myself right now, but then also we've even pre-planned out reference edits for the editors to go through. We've got screenshots and links to the videos that are relevant. Everything is planned out from the beginning, and this will make a monumental difference in your video recording because you have everything ready to go beforehand, and you are 10 times more confident in what you're saying. We've got an actual editing checklist too. So our editors will all actually go through all these different steps of editing the videos. Now there's a lot to think about in here as far as editing. You know, we think about pre-cutting, audio levels, visual effects, sound effects, graphics, making a second run through of the brand book to make sure that they align with your color schemes, making sure they run through the entire video outline. Everything is included in this editing format, and we've got a couple of different versions. If you are a video editor, you might understand what some of these different video editing styles are. But let's not get into the weeds too much. That's just something as far as the editing management side goes. And again, if you're building a YouTube team, these are important things to think about if you're hiring an editor. Now, getting towards the end here, but we're getting closer to posting. We're not quite there yet. Just stick it through, guys. I know you've been watching for like 10, 15 minutes and you're starting to feel tired. You want to turn off the video, but hey, listen up. We're getting really close and this stuff is getting juicy. It's getting important, all right? So the next thing is revisions. We're going to focus on actual basically going in, and this isn't like a super in-depth process, but pretty much the revisions phase is all just about going into a tool that we use called frame.io. It's something I recommend for anybody who's working with a video editor. If you're working with a video editor, frame.io is one of the best tools to literally go in at any point in the video, comment, hey, this thing needs to be changed, circle what needs to be fixed, maybe right here be like, editor, actually I'm asking the real editor right now, can you put a graphic of frame.io on the screen? No way, that's crazy. But anyways, we do stuff like that with the editors, and it allows us to basically keep things in check. It allows us to keep quality control to make sure that the client's videos are always on point. But if clients still want to add their own revisions, if they still don't think it's good enough, of course, we always allow clients to come in and do revisions themselves as well. So that's step 8, revisions, and step 9, finally, we are on the posting piece of things. So we're actually going to post your content. Wow, that's great. But a lot of this includes our description writing format. There's a lot of other stuff involved here, but the basic idea is we come up with a template for how to write your YouTube description. We recompile all that stuff from earlier, the titles, the thumbnails, the keywords, the description, the main video file itself. We title it all properly. We make sure it's all SEO'd up correctly for the search terms in that specific video. Again, we're using vidIQ to search up things like the search volume and the competition for that keyword, and we're combining those two to score the keywords. We're incorporating those keywords throughout every single title and thumbnail from the beginning. But again, this is all technical stuff. If you guys want more in-depth breakdowns, then check out some of the videos in the top right-hand corner, because I talk about a lot of these topics more in depth. We're just giving an overview right now. This is everything that comes with what we do. We break it all down from the beginning. We do all this keyword research, and it all comes together at this very final moment when we press that publish button, when we schedule out the video. And we actually schedule out videos 2 weeks in advance. So we're always 2 weeks ahead of schedule. Say you need to take a random 2-week vacation, then you're completely good. Say something happens with your team or your recording location, you're good for 2 weeks. We got plenty of time to stay ahead of it. So that's always a good thing, is we're always a minimum of 2 weeks ahead of any posting schedule, and that's why that onboarding period at the beginning is very important, so we can get ahead. But that is basically the idea as far as getting to posting. But of course, we're not quite done yet. There's a couple more important things, which include analytics and improving the product, which is your content over time. Now, this is really important. We have a couple of different documents on this. The first thing is, if you have videos that you watch that you think need improvement, we have a note-taking document. So if you have any ideas on how to improve your videos, or you have inspiration at some point or a random idea, write it down. But more importantly, we're going to go in and actually do analytics for you on your average view duration, which is going to let us look at where our viewers dropping off throughout the video. So that means we can improve the editing and how we can make the videos higher retention. We're also going to look at your click-through rate. We're going to look at how many people are clicking on that beautiful thumbnail and title that you clicked on to watch this video for. So if they aren't, if your click-through rate's low, we need to improve the title, the topic, or the thumbnail. TTT, whatever you want to call it. But all those things. And then there's even further research that we'll do. Those are the two that we'll look at on a week-to-week basis. That's the weekly analytics side of things. And then we also have a monthly review call as well. So on the monthly review call, we're going to look in more in depth into things like average views per viewer, which is how many times someone is actually clicking on different videos in your channel. Not just one video, but how many videos do they watch? How many views does one person get you? How high quality are the leads that you're bringing into your personal brand into the actual sales call, right? So you can spend half as much time working on the sale and twice as much time just recording content, speaking one-to-many rather than one-to-one for an hour on a phone call that a guy doesn't even close. There's some advantages there for sure. And then another statistic we'll also look at is average percentage viewed. So we can look at how your video lengths are working. So this video, for example, it's a much longer video than what I normally post, but the APV is going to say that it's pretty low. The average percentage viewed is going to look pretty low by proportion to the rest of my other videos on my channel. For example, if I post an 8-minute video, the APV is probably going to be closer to 50%, versus here it might be 20, even though the video is twice as long as my normal video. And that kind of helps us to determine, okay, was the actual APV impacted by video length or video quality? So we can kind of determine whether or not between APV and AVD on whether or not we should keep increasing the video length, or we need to focus on video quality first before we increase the amount of viewer attention. That's more technical, but again, we get into all these things on a month-to-month basis. We break it down to you in even simpler terms. We help you think about your views to sales ratio, how everything comes down the funnel, all this stuff, the long-term vision, how we can improve the content, make it fit your vision. It's all thought about on these monthly calls, and we think about even more of this week to week. for you. So that's the majority of it. That is pretty much everything. I'm going to double check my script here to make sure I didn't leave anything out. Yeah, we basically review everything. We answer your questions on those calls. But yeah, that's it. Like that's it. On a month-to-month basis, we're reviewing that. On a week-to-week basis, we're reviewing it. We're working with you on a day-to-day basis to record and just keeping you updated. But obviously, you're only having to focus on recording once or twice a month and ideating once or twice a month. That's it. Everything else is taken care of, and I don't need to oversell you guys because this is just an informational video going through, like I said, everything that we do, 100% free. If you guys want any of these documents, again, just email me or check out our website below and schedule a call. Hopefully this was helpful to you. If you think there was anything missing in this video, let me know. Leave a comment down below. I would love to have me and my team come up with something new or a new document, even if it's just for you, even if it's just something you in particularly make. I'm always curious to know more about what the next YouTube improvement is that we can make. So that's something that we're always trying to work on, is what's the thing that we're missing? What's the thing we could do better? And if there's anything else you guys like to see about our process too, leave a comment down below. Otherwise, check out the videos on screen right now or in the top right-hand corner. We've got a video on how a mystery influencer made $100 million in 24 hours off of YouTube. So definitely check that guy out. He's a big business owner. I'm sure you'd be interested in knowing how he did that. And more importantly, the strategies behind it. Otherwise, check out gettacticalleads.com for more information on all this stuff, guys. Hopefully this video is valuable, and I will catch you in the next one.